This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
So good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everyone joining us on INCRadio United Kingdom Satellite Studio Fit and Faithful. I hope that everybody's enjoying their Sunday afternoon and is fit and ready to join our show this afternoon. And again, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Sandy Grace Medina. I'm from the local congregation of Dublin South in the District of Ireland, and I'd like to say happy Sunday to everyone. It's been an amazing day for all of us. It's been a very, very busy day, but I do hope that everybody's enjoying themselves. And we like to say thank you to all of those tuning in with us today. The 18th of January 2026. We're already in the middle of January. Can you believe that? The day is going by so quickly, and we're just so excited to get our program started. So again, you're tuning in to INCRadio United Kingdom Satellite Studio Fit and Faithful, and we have so many things to share to you today. And we will be discussing firstly our topic discussion this afternoon, which is called Motivation to Move. I know that this is something that everybody has on their minds, especially in the beginning of the year. But also, as usual here on our program, we'll also be talking about our CFO in Action segment, Christian Family Organization in Action segment, wherein we talk about activities that were conducted in the districts of Britain South, Britain North, and Ireland. And also, we are so happy to be joined by our lovely sisters in the local congregation of Central London, who will be doing a demo for some sports activities that they have in their local congregation. And let me just introduce them quickly before we get started with our program. So firstly, I'd like to say hello to Shields. Hi, Shields and Sweet.
Hi, Sedley. Hi, Sedley. Very lovely to meet you.
Yes, likewise. And thank you so much for joining INCRadio United Kingdom. And before we begin and dive into our topic discussion, can you just introduce a little bit, introduce yourselves for our lovely audience?
Okay, so good evening, good morning, and good day. My name is Sister Sheila Victoria, and we're here from the locale of Central London. And we're here in good old East London, and we have our basketball and our volleyball activity with all our members from our locale. Hi, everyone. I'm oversee all of our sports activities that we have in our local congregation. So every Sunday, we do a thing here in our locale where we do the Sunday Fitness Club. So every Sunday, we like to do an activity. So be it basketball, volleyball, a 10K walk, cycling, or golf, crazy golf, or bowling. So every Sunday, we like to keep our brethren here in our locale active. So today is volleyball and basketball.
Yes, thank you for sharing that with us. And you just fit right into our program, which is all about Fit and Faithful, for those who are just tuning in right at this moment. But firstly, before we dive into the demo later on, which we are so excited to share to you, we will be discussing a little bit our topic discussion, which is, as we mentioned, is motivation to move. We know that during this time of the year that everybody has fitness on their mind, right? For whatever reason, it could be, just changing your lifestyle a bit, or maybe maybe changing up a healthier way of dealing with your diet, the way you move. I know fitness is in everybody's mind, but for this afternoon, we will be discussing fitness in a different light. So, firstly, we know we would like to ask everybody on our live chat comment section on YouTube to please answer along with us, because we'd like to share your answer as well as we go through all of the questions that we have for our panelists and our guests. So as I've mentioned, we're not going to talk about fitness in a very kind of like stringent, like strict way. This topic that we're talking about will be mainly from our point of view. So this is not an expert point of view, but more discussing our goals and how we want our goals to be achieved. And firstly, what our goals are mainly, for the year 2026. So for our lovely Sister Shields and Sweet, the topic that we have, firstly, you both have different backgrounds, and as like myself, when we say fitness, we have to think about like our own individual backgrounds. It's such a simple term, but we have to think about it on on a different level. Like for example, we talk about fitness more for movement and being healthy and things like that. But for both of you, I want to pose this question. Like for the year 2026, what do you want fitness to add to your life? I'll go to Sweet first.
So when I think about fitness, I think more of my diet and nutrition. I think more about what I put into my body. I think it obviously goes hand in hand with movement and moving your body, but I think it's also as important to be, mindful about what you're putting inside your body and how you're taking care of, your physical health, being nutritional and everything. So I think for me, this year, I'm going to really focus on, being more mindful on what I put inside my body rather than, just telling myself I'm going to go gym or I'm going to go walk and things, which is obviously as well, essential. But I think the main thing for me is being more mindful what I put inside my body too.
Yes, that's so true. Diet and like physical activity goes hand in hand. And we've mentioned this in our previous shows as well, that movement and having a healthier health lifestyle, they need to be a couple. You can't just go completely completely obsessed about movement and fitness. It should be a balanced kind of mindset, because to achieve those goals, it should be attainable, and it fits and it gels well with your own lifestyle, that you don't have to sacrifice so much for it, that it becomes a sustainable kind of lifestyle. What about you, Shields? What do you think for you? What do you want fitness to add to your life this year?
I mean, I think like everyone over the holiday season, everyone overindulged. I know for myself, I overdid it on the lechon, I overdid it on the lumpias and everything else. So for me, I kind of on January 1st, I did that whole cliche thing of oh gosh, let me join the gym, let me try and watch my diet. First of all, I had to do the most awful thing ever, and that's weigh myself on the scale. And almost that gave me heart failure in itself, because I looked at the number and I'm like, oh gosh, I really need to look after myself. And you know what? I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I've just turned 50 years old this year. I know I don't look it, but I just turned 50. And for me, I just want to, unfortunately in my family, heart disease runs in our family. So for me, I just need to do the simple things, like watch my salt intake. So obviously don't eat too much chicharron, don't add too much of the vinegar and the salt, which we always do. We love to add a bit of the chili as well. And it's just the simple things like that. And then also what I love doing, and this is more for my kind of mental being, is I like to take some time out during the day and basically go on a cycle ride. For an hour, maybe on my lunch break, I'll cycle along the Lee Valley River. I'll put my AirPods in, listen to like maybe some Madonna, maybe some Backstreet Boys. You know, everyone loves a bit of Madonna and Backstreet Boys. Listen to that. And it's just an hour of me time. And I think that's always important, you know, just going out, getting some fresh air, getting some vitamin D, and, you know, having some form of exercise. It doesn't have to be like a full session in the gym. It could be just like a little walk to the park or a little walk to the shops, just something, you know, to, you know, get the you know, the fluids running, so to speak, and get everything ticking. And obviously, the most important thing as well is to take your vitamins. So
Yes.
every morning I do take my vitamins. Yeah, so like I said, it's just little steps, and little steps do make such a difference.
Yes,
So
you actually
that's what I'll be trying to do. Yeah.
you brought up an interesting point that like I wanted to just mention to everybody like tuning in. Like, you know, it should be something simple, like, you know, like as you mentioned, going to the shops. Like like our lifestyle has been so convenient that a lot of people now would rather have things delivered to their homes. And you know, that simple walking to the shop, it could be like a 10 or 15-minute walk, but you know, that adds up to your movement throughout the week. If you do 2 or 3 times kind of like pit stop to your shops, you know, that adds like 45 minutes, let's say, of movement throughout your week. And like these little things add up. So like as I mentioned, like, you know, fitness or movement, we don't have to go hard. We just have to go. Like that's the first step, you know, to just go. And like little movements, little slight change of fitness lifestyle could benefit us in the long run. And there's so many things. And as Sweet has mentioned, it should go hand in hand with like something we're working towards, like, you know, for healthier options for our diets. And like especially, and also Shields has brought it up as well, as we get older, and you know, like certain things that we have in our family, like background, genetics, whatever, like, you know, it starts to show up. So you're more intentional with your lifestyle changes, because you know, like we want to avoid those things that our family have experienced health wise. So that's why changes have to be we have to bring about changes in our lifestyle in like small simple ways, right? So like for our second question, actually I'd like to mention to both of you. So any one of you could answer. So has moving your body ever helped you outside of exercise, like with sleep, work, your mindset? Like I know that this is such a like a broad question, but yes, has more moving your body more help you with your sleep, maybe, or something like that?
I think if I'll be truly honest, you know what I really struggled with, and this is a bit, this is, maybe I'm quite strict about this, but I struggled just walking up a flight of stairs and, you know, running for the tube. Say, for instance, I was running for the train and I literally had 1 minute to run up the stairs or else I was going to miss my train. I found myself gasping for air when I reached the top. And I was like, oh my goodness, I need to sort myself out. So it was then I realized, you know, I need to have more movement. So that's when I did actually start, you know, doing cycling, walking around more to, you know, doing the 10K steps actually really does help. You know, and it, you know, gets your body, you know, moving, and, you know, you're able to do things so much better. So now I find, and actually before I used to take the lift because I was like, no, I'm so out of breath running up the stairs. But now I can actually go up the stairs because I've made those little changes and made those little movements.
About Sweets, for you, has moving your body outside of like the term, like, you know, exercise, has it ever helped you with, you know how you look at your day. Like for example, like is there a big difference with you working out, and then the next day do you feel a lot better, or is there like a shift for you?
Um, Definitely. I think when I started noticing it more was at work. When I used to work in hospitality, and I'm sure like the younger generation, you're very like familiar of like all of our responsibilities and tasks when we're working in hospitality or retail. A lot of heavy lifting and a lot of like moving around and moving like big items around and everything. So I really noticed when I first got into hospitality, I didn't have the strength for any of like my responsibilities and roles within my job before. So I found that when I started strength training and going to the gym and playing sports, that it really helped me in my day-to-day life, and especially if I'm like full-time working in hospitality, it made a very big difference for me. I felt more stronger and more confident in myself. So I'd say definitely like I noticed change within my day-to-day life.
Yeah, it's completely, you're completely right there. Like, you don't realize, like, even just for those who are tuning in with us, and those who are like, sedentary workers, those who are working on the desk mainly, in an office job, that there are simple things that we could do to make, like, even just our posture. I think we've dealt with this in our previous shows before, that even just a simple a slight adjustment to our posture could help us to not only make our positions comfortable during at work, but also adds to our movement on a daily basis, especially for those who are sitting down for 6 to 8 hours on a daily basis. Little bits of movement throughout those 8 hours of just sitting down really does make a huge difference. And for those who are, as Sweet has mentioned, like hospitality workers, those who are in the healthcare industry, like strength training really does help, because like you're lifting things that maybe are even like half your body weight. So you really need to incorporate some form of like strength training, just to like help you, not like obviously help you with the movement and fitness, but also prevent you from making injuries, especially at work. And like obviously when you're injured at work, that spills out to your personal life. So like strength training does really help everyone. So like as we've mentioned in the beginning of our show, I'd like to encourage everybody joining us on the live chat. Please answer along with us, because we'd like to get your point of view as well, to share your point of view all across our listeners and our viewers. Now, let's go to our next question. So the third question that we have for our guest is, what's one small or unexpected thing that you've done that actually made staying active easier? So any one of you could answer first. So who wants to answer this question?
Could you repeat the question again, Senli?
Sorry, for those who are tuning in, and for our guests as well. So, is there something like a small change to your fitness, your movement, that you've done and are doing right now that actually made staying active easier? Is there like a routine that you're incorporating in your daily life now? Maybe a change in like walking route to work, or like that really worked out for you and help you with maintaining your movement on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, or on a monthly basis, just to help you out, kind of like um, kind of answer this part. Like for me, I try to run. That's like one of the things that I like, and like I've realized that for me to keep moving is, or like to have some sort of like fitness in my lifestyle, is to just stick with things that I like to do. So like running comes really easy with me. So for me to do something that I like, but also still kind of challenge myself, is to stick to 3 runs a week. So that's like my way of like sticking to a routine and like keeping myself accountable too. But what about you guys? Like, what is one way, a simple way that you think right now that you've incorporated that made moving easier for you?
So for myself, I recently incorporated, going on walks and walking to work and walking home from work. I really noticed that my body feels a lot more, more flexible, and I get better sleep actually. And I know it's something really small and really simple, and it doesn't sound as challenging as it is. But when I work, a half a mile away from my house, it does add up. And I think that with doing that and incorporating that into my everyday routine, I find that, like I mentioned, I do actually get better sleep because my body feels more relaxed and it's not as tense, and my muscles, my bones are not as tight actually. So I really noticed that when I start incorporating walking more, that my body just is really, thankful for it essentially. And I think it's more challenging now, especially in the UK where the weather is like not that great. But I think that whatever time, whatever chance I get, I do try, to get my steps in essentially.
And it's so nice that you brought that up, because in the previous shows that we had, Cheryl, our producer here for INCRadio United Kingdom, she pointed out that one of the simple things that she actually incorporated in her fitness routine, or even just something as small that she's done for her lifestyle, is she gets off the train station one stop. Yeah. Do you do that as well? Like, do you do something like that?
So what I do now is from the train station, I used to take the bus, and it was like 4 bus stops to my home. What I do now is I get off at the train station and I actually walk to my home, and it takes about 20 minutes. But it's so much better for me to actually walk that 20 minutes than it was to take the bus. I feel that was just me being lazy. So it's just taking that kind of, like I said, taking the initiative, getting off a bus stop earlier, a train stop earlier, just to add in those steps. It really does make such a difference.
And I'm so glad that you brought those things up again, because it's such a simple way to change up a little bit of your lifestyle, just to get a bit of like movement and more movement into your lifestyle. But now, like, as like we've also brushed up on it, like especially now that in the UK and in Ireland, like the weather is just not like the greatest at the moment. So that's already like a stumbling block when you're planning to be more fit, or more like more motivationally fit for this year. Like, what other things have you come across that like is kind of like preventing you to have a more healthier, more like adding more fitness into your lifestyle? I know we've mentioned like the weather. I think that's everyone's kind of stumbling block for UK and Ireland. When the weather gets a bit more dreary and bitter, like it's very hard to motivate yourself to come out and like keep pushing yourself, like running especially. What about you guys, apart from like the weather? And also, how do you combat like the stumbling blocks that you find along your way?
Okay, so for me, I think what was really hard is with my job, I go to restaurants and I review restaurants, and so I have to write about the experience of going to a restaurant. So I found that especially last year, I put on so much weight because I visit restaurants maybe about 3 or 4 times a week. So I decided, I couldn't really continue this, or else I was literally being like obese. I would have put on like 5 stone. So I made a decision to, only go to review a restaurant maybe once or twice a week. And then also I made better decisions with what food and what dishes I was ordering. So instead of ordering, say, for instance, like a pork belly, chips, and then a sticky toffee and custard, I would turn around and I would order a fish dish. I would order some vegetables, because sometimes, I'll be honest, myself, I don't eat a lot of vegetables. The most you catch me eating is maybe sweet, and I will consider that as a vegetable. But yeah, I made some better decisions on what I was ordering when I was going out to review restaurants. And also, it does make, like I did say, it makes such a difference. Eating more of your veg, eating more of your fruit. Like your mum and dad always tell you, eat more veg, eat more fruit, and you'll have a healthier lifestyle. So that was what I was doing. So that's, in a way, for 2026, I said to myself, I'm just going to change the way how I eat and what's my diet, and, perhaps also not go out as much to restaurants as I usually do. So I've actually cut down now. I only go to maybe restaurants maybe twice a week instead of 4 or 5 times a week.
What about you, Sweet?
So actually, one of the things I find really challenging, I don't know about you, Sheila, or you, Stanley, is actually living and, growing up in a Filipino household. Yeah. I think, our diet is not the best. The myth that everyone says, like, sugar runs in our blood, and like, diabetes is so abundant in the Philippines because of, the things we eat and the things we put in our body. And truthfully, that's one of the most challenging things for me, especially, like I mentioned earlier, trying to be more mindful about what I put into my body. I think one of the main things I really notice is, when you have like rice dishes every day, rice and like really heavy meats as well, you don't notice growing up, because you just, like Sheila mentioned, you just eat what's on your plate. Your parents like plate your food and then you just eat whatever. But one thing for me is usually what we do for breakfast is have rice and spam and egg and corned beef, right? That's very typical Filipino breakfast. But for me, it's the longanisa, exactly, all of that good stuff. For me, I sort of made a switch. So instead of having like breakfast like that on a day-to-day basis, I'd make myself, a yogurt bowl or a fruit bowl or something. And like I mentioned, it makes me really think about more what I'm putting into my body, and not just eating whatever and eating whatever every single day. I think, that's how I personally like overcome or combat the challenge of being Filipino.
Yeah, like we have to be conscious of our background. Like we know, like being having a Filipino background, like we know we kind of gravitate towards like, sweet things and very savory things that obviously all of us know that like it's not very great on a day-to-day basis. But obviously, knowing that information, we have to set boundaries for ourselves so that we make better and healthier choices. And like, even from that starting point, knowing that now we have to set boundaries, like meal-wise, then maybe the next step is moving a lot more. And we know that as Filipinos, we don't, like, that's not our, like, it's not something incorporated in our lifestyle, keep moving and things like that. So we have to be intentional with setting that on our minds, that we have to keep moving, that we shouldn't be like too comfortable driving to work every day when you could easily commute and walk a little bit to work, just to change a little bit, adapt a healthier mindset to welcome a healthier you for 2026. So I know it's been such enjoyable time talking to both of you about our topic discussion, but I think we have to leave it at that. But it's been so enjoyable getting your point of view for our topic discussion this afternoon, which again, for all those who are just tuning in to us here on INCRadio United Kingdom, is all about motivation to move. So once again, we'd like to ask everybody tuning in on INCRadio United Kingdom to keep tuning in to us. Today's conversation that we had remind us that fitness doesn't have to be extreme or intimidating to be effective. It's about finding small, realistic ways to support our life, to have energy, to have a better mindset and ability to show up each day feeling better than before. And again, as I've mentioned, I'd like to say thank you to our lovely sisters who join in and given their point of view. But don't be afraid, they'll be joining in again later on in a little bit for our fitness demo from the local congregation of Central London. But in a little bit, we will be showcasing an original Christian music video that Iglesia Ni Cristo music cover called I Sing Your Praises. So please enjoy this musical performance from our brethren from the local congregation of Heathrow. So please continue to tune in on INCRadio United Kingdom. and we're back on INC Radio United Kingdom Satellite Studio, Fit and Faithful, and we brought to you a musical performance from our brethren from the local congregation of Heathrow, and they've just performed "I Sing Your Praises," and we'd like to say hello to all of our brethren who performed on the video, and it showcased their talents, their musical talents. And if you want to see more of those musical performances, please continue to tune in on INC Radio United Kingdom Satellite Studio. But now we're going to our lovely sisters once again to showcase the fitness demo that they are conducting in their local congregation of Central London. And again, for those who are tuning with us, we have Shields and Sweet from the local congregation of Central London. So I know there's so many things going on right behind you.
Yes, so we have got both volleyball and basketball as our activity today. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you a little tour of our volleyball players and our basketball players, okay? So there you go. I get hit by
Yes, it's very, there's so many things going on that the ball.
Yeah, and everyone is high energy, everything, you know. No matter how hard you try, at least
you know that was.
this is one of them. That's not how you serve.
It just goes to show how fit everybody is in the local congregation of Central London.
This shows how live we are. Well.
Yes, exactly. I was about to point out.
I get hit by a ball.
Okay, should we give them a little tour?
Yeah,
Activity
let's
today.
give them a tour. Okay. So we have our volleyball players. So as you can see, at the moment they are doing a drill. So they're doing, I believe these are digs that they're doing. So they are, all of them are in the volleyball team. So over here we do have our resident minister, Brother Jacob. Brother Jacob.
Hello,
Brother Jacob.
Thanks for joining us today and helping out with the fitness demo for the local congregation of Central London.
So yeah, so he's our star player. Okay, so we're going to give you a little tour and also show you our other volleyball players. So we do have here Sister Lovely.
Hi,
Okay.
sister.
Okay, and over here we have Sister Danny.
Hi, Sister Danny.
We have
Hi.
Sister Shelby. Sister Shelby.
Hi.
We do have Alan. Brother Alan, you like to say hello?
Hiya.
So yeah, so over here we do have our brethren who are here watching all the players.
And there's so many of the supportive brethren, by the way, who are, even though they're just not playing, they're supporting those who are playing and doing the drills, right?
Yes, that's right. So like I said, every single Sunday we do have this activity. So now I'm going to show you our basketball players, and let's walk over here. So we have our brothers who are at the moment, I think they're in the middle of a game. So I believe that they will be doing a demo on the layup shot.
There we go.
I bet, brother, will you be doing a demo of the layup shot, Brother Jake? Are you doing the layup shot? I mean, I definitely need. I definitely
a lot of pressure on the basketball team system.
Yes,
I mean, I definitely need
to do this live, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
She's putting pressure on them.
Yeah, so here we go. They're going to do a demo. Okay, so we have Brother Jake. Yes.
There we go.
There you go.
And we have more of members in our local congregation supporting our activity.
So
There's so many of them as well. You could ask them to give the camera a bit of a wave so we could
Yes,
see them.
If we could all wave
we can always.
there.
Okay.
Wow, there's so many of them supporting this activity today. And let me just ask the both of you, for the basketball like teams who are involved for this fitness demo right now, for just our viewers and our audience who are tuning in to us.
So these are our Bookload and our Kadiwa and our Binhi members.
Mhm.
So like I said, every single week we get our CFO to have these sports. So every single week we gather all the families, whoever wants to, join in our activities. Everyone's welcome, to play basketball or volleyball every single week.
It's so nice to see that all across the Christian Family Organization, everybody tries to be involved in some form of like, sports, like, and as I could see in your background there, that it's Binhi Kadiwas and also Buklod members. So for those who are
Yeah.
tuning in to us on INC Radio United Kingdom, so those are Christian Family Organization members of different organizations, as I've mentioned. So Buklod are those who are married members of the Church of Christ, and Kadiwa members are those who are unmarried from the ages of 18 onwards. And then the Beni members are the youth members of the church. They are from the ages of 12 to 17. And there's also other organizations that we have as well, which is the Children's Worship Service. And like, as I mentioned, it's so nice that all across those CFO organizations, everybody is quite involved in this fitness activity that you have. And as you mentioned, this is a weekly thing. So like on top of your own personal like fitness routine, you have this at the end of the week, which adds up. It's a very good like activity to have for the local congregation. And yes, it's so nice that like the leadership and everybody in the local congregation truly supports activities like this. You could be just like actually doing the fitness, but also there's a lot of support coming from the other brethren as well.
And I think it's also good, like especially for everyone to bond. And I think sport, even though it's a competitive thing, and everyone wants to win, everyone loves just taking part, and the taking part is always the best bit. Getting together like us, our locale, the brethren, every single week, we get together, we play a sport, and we get to know each other as well. And what we also try to do is we try to get the elderly involved as well. So it'll be little things like getting them to like maybe just walk across the fort a few times, do some stretches, do some exercises. It's important to include everyone, so not only the young people, the young brethren who will be participating, it will be everyone in all the age groups.
And just like as we've already pointed out that this is like an ongoing activity, right? Is there like specific sports activities that you have set up for the next coming weeks that you'd like to campaign for, so everyone on INC Radio United Kingdom will know about the things going on central London side? Do you want to like mention that?
Of course. So we do actually have quite a few fitness activities lined up. I believe our next one is actually an Activate. It's in this location in London where there's essentially many different rooms, and it's to get everyone moving, and there's different games and everything. And I think it's something that not only, as Tina mentioned, will get us moving and moving our bodies, but also something just enjoyable as well, and to bring us together. We do also have quite a few other activities as well. So we have 10K walks coming up. In the previous year, we had quite a few activities like this. We had one where we did a walk around, was it Hyde Park? Regent's Park, Hyde Park. I believe our next one is gonna be Primrose Hill, even down the canal. which would be really nice. And I think, like we've mentioned, it's not just for set organizations like the Kadiwa or Book Club, like it's everyone in the Christian family organization. So it would be good, to get everyone outside and together and moving our bodies. So
And also, I believe we do have our, our district sports activity that's coming up in May. So it's actually a really good time for everyone to start practicing. The volleyball. I know usually it's always, Heathrow girls that always win. And, we want to be up there. We want to compete against them. So Heathrow girls, we're coming at you. Well, I'm not because I'm retired. But we're coming for you. We've started our practices. So we're coming.
Yeah, it's so lovely that even as early as now, everybody is already preparing and already looking forward to the district activity that you will have in your own district, right? And everybody is so excited and already preparing, even as early as this month, January, when you have the activity in May. And it's so lovely that not only those who are going to participate in that district activity, but also everybody gets involved. Like, as you mentioned, you have something for the elderly too. So it's not only the young ones that will be involved, but everybody all across the ages in the local congregation. But now, I know you've been so lovely joining us on INC Radio United Kingdom this Sunday. But before we completely forget, is there any personal shout outs that you'd like to mention? Or is there anyone there that would like to share their shout outs live on air before we end the program?
I personally would like to say happy birthday to my little brother, and he's not so little anymore, my little brother John Ross, Victoria, and it's his birthday today. So happy birthday, little brother.
happy birthday, John Ross.
Happy birthday, John Ross. And also, what about you, Sweets? Is there anyone you want to personally shout out, or even anyone there at the venue that you'd like to pull, and then they could say their personal shout outs as well?
Look, let's one of them have a
Lovely. Any shout outs for INC Radio? Anyone you want to shout out?
I want to shout out to this is all over the world. I want to shout out to my mom, who's definitely watching this. So hi, mom and dad, love you. Bye.
Oh, that's lovely. That's so lovely.
Okay, we're gonna
Just
go. We're gonna go
know
over
where
to some other brethren.
parents are from, so we could mention that on air.
Oh, and
All right, we're gonna go over here. Okay, let's go to Sister Danny. Okay, so personal shout outs.
anyone you want to shout out on INC Radio?
Oh, I'd like to shout out my brother who is a minister based in Uganda. So I'd like to shout out to brother Andre in Uganda and his family.
Hello, brother Andre and the family. And anyone else would like to do their shout outs before we let you guys go? Any more personal shout outs? What about Sweet?
Sweet.
So for myself, just want to shout out my parents, Jerry and Perry Rocket. Yes, their names are rhyming. Both of them actually, they're the ones who really inspired me to play sports. My mom plays volleyball. My dad used to play basketball, and I myself play volleyball too. So shout out to them too. I believe they're watching. Hope you guys are watching. Hi guys, there you are.
Okay, so I definitely need to do a shout out to my mom, or else she'll kill me. So I want to say hi, Mom, and I hope you're watching me. Actually, she is watching me. Well, she better be watching me. So hi, Mom. And I also want to say hi to my sister, who's in the locale of Irvine, with Isabella and Noah, my niece and nephew, and my brother-in-law, Jadal. So hi, guys.
Yes, once again, shout outs to all of the people that our sisters have mentioned. And again, it was so lovely to have you join our topic discussion and also discussing your demos for your local congregation. Thank you so much. And we do really appreciate spending your time with us on INC Radio United Kingdom. And we'll let you go. Thank you so much once again for joining us
Thank
today.
you so
Thank
much
you.
for having us.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you, Stanley.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone, for watching.
Say bye.
Thank you. Have a lovely Sunday, everyone there. And once again, those who are tuning into us, this is the local congregation of Central London with their fitness demo. And again, thank you so much, everyone there. Thank you. And yes, before we end our program this afternoon, we'd just like to mention a quick um, uh, personal message to our executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. We'd like to greet them during our program this afternoon. We'd like to say hello to our brother and also our deputy executive minister, Brother Angelo Eranio V. Manalo. And once again, we also would like to say hello to our station manager, Brother Wally Taray, and Brother Montrevel Boy, our INC Media Production Section Chief. And we would also like to extend our warm greetings to our district supervising ministers of Britain South, Brother Harley Alcantara, Brother Anthony Pena, our district supervising minister of Britain North, and Brother Pepito Acosta, our district supervising minister for the District of Ireland. We'd like to extend also our warm greetings to the rest of the ministers and workers in the districts of Britain South, Britain North, and in Ireland. And as I've mentioned, that is our program this afternoon. We do hope that you've enjoyed our topic discussion, which is called Motivation to Move, and that gave you a bit of insight to how to maybe adapt your lifestyle a little bit to gain more movement into your year, this year 2026. And we also had a little bit of a fitness demo from our sisters Sweet and Sister Sheila from the local congregation of Central London. We do hope that you've enjoyed that segment as well. And also the musical presentation or performance from our lovely brethren from the local congregation of Heathrow. And that Iglesia Ni Cristo original music video is called I Sing Your Praises. And that brings us to the end of our program on INC Radio United Kingdom. We do hope that you've enjoyed our program this Sunday. And don't be afraid, you could watch any part of our program by just typing in INC Radio United Kingdom on the search bar, and it will easily bring you up to any of our shows. Just type in the date, and then you could easily click on that video, and that will bring you to our video on INC Radio United Kingdom. And once again, that brings us to the end of our program. We do hope that you've enjoyed our show today. Thank you so much, and happy Sunday, everyone. And up next is INC Radio Italy North. Happy Sunday, everyone. Bye.